Hey guys, Merry Christmas. So it is Christmas Eve as I am filming this, and hopefully it will be up on Christmas Eve. So if you need something to keep you company while you are wrapping presents or enjoying a nice cocktail by the fire, then hopefully this will get you into the holiday spirit. So what I wanted to do in this video, I thought there would be no better time to talk about the Nomad Christkindlmarkt palette. So I'll be doing a look with this eye palette and also just talking about some of my favorite Christmas memories and Christmas traditions from across the years. If you are not new to this channel, you may have heard me talk about how I spent several years of my childhood in Germany while my dad was stationed in the army over there. And so a lot of my core childhood memories, I lived over there from when I was about 5 to when I was about 8 and a half. So I have a lot of fond childhood memories from that time. I was old enough to remember a lot, but it was also just that kind of magical period of childhood. So this palette in particular was especially significant to me because we were stationed near Nuremberg. And although there are a lot of Christmas markets in Germany, the Nuremberg Christmas market in particular is one of the biggest and best in my opinion. So my husband and I actually went there 2 years ago now, which I can hardly believe. So my husband is originally from London, and so 2 years ago now, when we went over to London for Christmas, we took a little kind of short 2 or 3 day trip to Nuremberg, which was very easy to do, and I would highly recommend it. They have an airport there that makes it very easy to fly into, and a great public transportation system, and all the things that the Germans do best. So yeah, I thought I would talk a little bit about the memories that this palette evokes in me while I am doing a look for you guys. And in general, this is just going to be kind of a chatty get ready with me. So hopefully this will be kind of a good background video for you, if nothing else. I know this palette has been out for a while now. So this is the palette, like I said, and because this is such a, I don't know, emotionally resonant palette for me, I did end up buying 2 so that I could kind of use one and mess it up and keep one kind of pristine. So the cool thing about this packaging, as you can see with these little doors that are opening, it's kind of structured like an advent calendar. So advent calendars kind of originated in Germany, at least to my understanding. And a lot of the older, kind of old-fashioned ones were just paper. So you would just open the door and there would be a little paper picture or design behind them. So yeah, they do kind of evoke that with the packaging. And I did upload a little reel showing me opening all of the doors because they said that was a feature of this packaging, but I wasn't really sure how it worked. So I wanted to show you that on Instagram. Nomad also does really beautiful kind of bespoke embossing for all of their palettes according to the theme of the palette. So again, I wanted to be able to use the palette without destroying any of the kind of things that make it so magical. So this is the one that I will be using. So I'll open it up for you. So these are all the shades, and I'll go through all of them in a minute and tell you kind of what I think about the names and the themes and all that. And then of course do a look on the eyes. And that's just what it looks like before you kind of open all the doors. One thing I do wish that they had done, I do wish that, you can see once you take the palette out, they're just kind of holes here. I can get my finger through. So I kind of wish they had done another layer of cardboard so you would have a little secret surprise underneath rather than just kind of a part of this cover. I'm sure that would have made it more expensive to make, so I appreciate that. Or just have it kind of line up a little bit more with the palette design so that it was kind of, I don't know, a little Easter egg if you want, although that's the wrong holiday. But anyway, I did want to go through the other little gifts with purchase that they sent when you purchased this near the launch. I'm not sure how long the stock lasted for this gift with purchase package that I'm about to show you, but that's one thing I will say about Nomad. If you are able to purchase a palette around the time when it launches, usually you get some fun little freebies, if only just like a little postcard like they tend to do, which is really cute. And that is what the back looks like. So yeah, I think they only have limited stock of these. I don't think they remake them as, you know, the things sell out. But this one, it says, "Greetings from the land of Saint Nick. Wander with us through twinkling German Christmas markets and soak in the wonder of the holiday seasons. We hope this palette brings a sprinkle of festive magic to your beauty creations. With warm holiday wishes, Felicia and Auntie, I want to say, the Nomad co-founders." And I believe the owners of Nomad have relocated to Germany now, so that makes this palette kind of especially meaningful and special. So it says this is the Christkindlmarkt Color and Chrome palette, and the destination, it says Christmas time. All across Germany, town squares framed by half-timbered houses and medieval churches come alive as the traditional Christmas markets, or Christkindlmärkte, light up the season. Wander through wooden stalls brimming with treasures, savor the scents of glühwein and roasted nuts, and join in the joyful holiday merriment. From sparkling Christmas trees to pirouetting pyramid, let the holiday magic begin. I don't know if it was supposed to be pyramids. So then it says palette. Santa sparkles in Eau Tannenbaum. Peek through the windows of the Advent calendar-inspired packaging to discover a festive and charming holiday market. Inside, radiant shimmer and chrome shades are arranged in the shape of a twinkling Christmas tree at the center, surrounded by matte hues of fir green, St. Nicholas red, and marketplace neutrals. 6 mattes, 5 shimmers, 3 duochromes, and 1 multichrome. And they support the UNESCO World Heritage Center with this palette, which helps conserve 55 sites in Germany. So yeah, they always do some kind of special cause with their palettes, and they are a kind of travel themed brand, which I do appreciate. Okay, I think I see what they're talking about potentially with the Christmas tree design. So if you see the top paper star shade in the middle, there is the kind of top of the tree, and then carousel and gingerbread are kind of coming out as a triangle, and then we have tree embossings all along the bottom, and they again kind of keep that triangular pattern. And then at the top we have nutcracker embossing, St. Nicholas embossing, and then these are the kind of pyramids. And in the middle we just have an ornament. So yeah, so they are quite clever. So with this palette you did get even more gifts with purchase. They sent this nice kind of woodcut ornament that has the Nomad Cosmetics logo, and it says Merry Christmas. It would have been nice if they had done that in German. It was kind of interesting to see what they chose to do in English and what they chose to do in German, as we'll talk about with the shades. There was this little pouch, kind of like a little Santa's pouch that says Nomad Christkindlmarkt. And then they also included a pair of socks. So these are just normal socks that say Nomad at the top. Yeah, it's just Nomad. I don't know what the fabric composition of these. I would imagine there is probably some polyester or something, but they still feel pretty good. I will say it is worth checking out their merch in general. Like, I think they sold this little kit separately for a time before it sold out. But for their like Pacific Northwest collection, they did sell these beanies, which are actually really nice beanies and not too much money. This is, I think, 100% merino wool. So a 100% wool beanie, and I mean the logo is there, but it's not like too obnoxious in my opinion. So I think that's like Nomad and the Pacific Northwest is kind of how they did it. So I think that was very clever. And just to kind of show you the appeal of their kind of merch items, I had sent this collection to my husband just as kind of like a, oh, this is interesting kind of thing, because that's what you do when you're married. And he's very big into hiking and outdoorsy type stuff. And so because this was a Pacific Northwest outdoorsy type palette, I wanted to, I don't know, just show it to him. And he actually went and bought this on his own. So we have 2 of these now. And I was so upset with him because I'm like, I had a code. Like, I could have found a code to get you 10% off. But anyway, he ended up buying one of these independently of me. And then I also bought another one of these and a mug. There's like a camping mug with like a Yeti on the bottom, which was really fun. So I bought that and the Pacific Northwest palette, I think over, is it Green Monday, Green Friday? I think it was Green Monday, which I don't even know what that means anymore. But yeah, I purchased it. I purchased the actual palette then, but yeah, they do nice stuff, is the long story short there. So anyway, they do have little socks here. I guess it would have been fun if they did a stocking, although I guess this is more usable. Hopefully I will have inserted a clip at the beginning of this video showing St. Nicholas or Santa Claus putting this palette into a shoe, which is a German Christmas tradition that I enjoyed when I was a child. Sadly, I don't think my parents kept it up after we moved back to the States, but that's another story. But yeah, when we were in Germany, we had a tradition where you put your shoes out on the night of December 5th, and then St. Nicholas comes along in the night and puts goodies and oranges and all those kind of traditional Christmas things into your shoes, and then you pick them up the next day on December 6th. So it's kind of the equivalent of stockings, I guess, in the kind of American tradition. But yeah, I just thought that was really a fun and special thing. So I bought for that little clip the most ridiculous YouTube prop I've probably ever bought. If you ever need this for Elf on a Shelf or whatever else people do these days, OnlyFans. This is a Santa sleeve, so it's just the Santa arm with a glove, and it's only one, so you have to pick which arm I guess you want to do. But yeah, you can create the photo op there with Santa. But yeah, that's on Amazon if anyone's curious. Oh, and that's not it even. They also had from Nomad these like note cards. So they reused, I think, their artwork. And these are just blank note cards that you fold in half. And I think there are two different designs here. So there's two with a Christmas tree and some shops. I have the gold foil, and it just says Season's Greetings. So I thought that was really nice. And they did also include these red envelopes, which are actually pretty nice, sturdy envelopes, so they didn't really skimp out on those. And then the other two have a carousel. I don't recall there ever being a carousel in the Nuremberg Christkindlmarkt, but maybe I'm misremembering. I went back through my photos from 2 years ago and I didn't see one. So that's not to say it's not a common part of different German markets, but it's not something that I really, I guess, resonate with. So I did also pick up two items from the Essence holiday collection, Nuts About You, which I thought were really cute. And again, I bought two each of these, so I wouldn't feel bad about using them. So this is like a blush and highlighter, blush lighter combo. And this is, I think, a lip balm. It says What's Cracking. Yeah, so I don't think there's a lot of pigment there. But I thought this was especially cute with the little tassel and the Nuts About You. I have been wearing, by the way, the Kulfi lip balm in Black Forest Cake, which Black Forest is Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte in German. And it happens to be my husband's favorite cake. I guess growing up in London in the 70s, it was kind of a very popular thing. But yeah, I just thought I would pull that out as well. All right, so let's talk about these shades. So like I said, I was very interested to see what they chose to do in German and what they chose to do in English. So Nutcracker, obviously, pretty self-explanatory there. I think the German for Nutcracker is Nussknacker. I will say, I spent time in Germany as a child, and I did take German like up to the AP level, and I took a few classes in college, but that was like 20 years ago at this point, so forgive me if my pronunciation is off, if there are any native German speakers out there. But yeah, I do my best. So yeah, the dark brown shade there is Nutcracker. So O Tannenbaum with the St. Nicholas embossing. You can see he has the more traditional bishop's hat and crook. So he was a saint. So yeah, so O Christmas Tree is where we get that song from. So I guess Tannenbaum was a fairly easy German word for most Americans to recognize. Paper star, I mean, you see a lot of kind of paper star decorations in IKEA as well, so that's probably fairly recognizable as a European Christmas decoration. And they did that in English, St. Nikolaus, so that is the German spelling, but again, you would think it'd be fairly kind of recognizable. Marketplace, I thought was interesting that they did that in English. So a marketplace obviously would be kind of the town center where you have all these little stalls and things set up. In German, it's just Marktplatz. So, you know, even if you are not a native German speaker or a German speaker of any kind, you would probably be able to recognize that. Christmas pyramid right here. So that is those little kind of wooden, how do I describe these? Those little wooden tableaus or displays where they have candles that kind of make the fans go around. I'll insert a picture just so you know what I'm talking about, but that's what they mean by a Christmas pyramid. Gingerbread. So obviously I know gingerbread. And yeah, gingerbread is obviously the more familiar English word. In German, it's Lebkuchen, so you know, maybe not as directly translatable. I did pull this little magnet off our fridge, and this tower seems to have kind of suffered a bit. But anyway, you can see some of the Lebkuchen there. So there it says Ich liebe dich, which is I love you in German, and then another one there. And those are the little prune people, by the way, which I've talked about. So that's kind of another very traditional Nuremberg thing. But yeah, the Nuremberger one, anyway, does a lot of those kind of hearts where they have things written in them. There's that, and they also have, I have held off on eating these for weeks. They're probably stale. Yeah, they're probably pretty stale now, but I probably didn't eat the calories anyway. But yeah, I had a set of, I think these come in a pack of 6. And this is from the brand Wicklein, I want to say. So this is the original Nuremberger gingerbread. So they have an English label on it, but yeah, it says Nuremberger Lebkuchen. So this is from the place, and it even has the protected geographical location or indication on it. So that's like the thing where, you know, champagne has to come from Champagne, France, and you have prosciutto and Parma ham and things like that. They have to come from that place. So this is like the legit Nuremberger gingerbread, and I think we went into their shop kind of on the main plaza. And so anyway, in this particular set, we have the ones that are covered in chocolate, and they have this kind of like communion wafer if you're Catholic, but they have that kind of wafer on the bottom, and then the gingerbread, and I think these are, yeah, they're pretty stale. I'm trying to break it in half. Probably should have put these in a plastic bag. But yeah, that's kind of what they look like on the inside. I mean, even when you buy them unopened, they're still kind of on the drier side, which makes them a great companion for Glühwein, in my opinion, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So this has the kind of frosted top to it. And then the last one, I don't know, it's just kind of some other sugary toppings. So yeah, I wanted to buy another pack of these. I restrained myself to only buying one, which I'm regretting. My husband and I just went to Aldi last night, which would have been the 22nd of December. And Aldi is a German company, or owned company, I guess. So if you're ever in need of some German items, it seems like they don't carry as much as they used to, or at least it seems to vary from time to time. But yeah, Aldi is a great place to look for kind of traditional German things, but we were kind of late in the season, so I don't know if they sold out. I didn't see any Glühwein there, which I will talk about more in a minute, but yeah, some things you just have to grab when you see them. But anyway, that was a very long discussion of gingerbread. First snow, I mean, snow is, oops, snow is snow. The carousel I kind of already talked about. Krampus, I don't know how you say that, but that's not something I remember talking about as a kid, but you know, I was such a model child. But yeah, we didn't go into that, but I will encourage you to watch the Netflix movie. I think it's Champagne Problems, and I'll include a time stamp in the description, or at least the time where this clip starts, or maybe I'll try and insert it a little bit. But the actor who played the male lead singer of Dust Sound Machine in Pitch Perfect is in it, and he has a really funny discussion of Krampus and also Die Hard, the movie, because of course Hans Gruber was the hero, or misunderstood hero, at least in that movie. So I highly recommend watching that movie just for that scene, although it's a decent enough kind of holiday movie if you need something to watch. But yeah, that was Krampus. Almonds and chestnuts, you know, roasted nuts, they have those everywhere. Candle arches, those are just those kind of, again, wooden displays where they have candles on them. It's not an advent calendar or an advent wreath, but they just have candles in them. Glass ornaments. So I wanted to talk about this in particular because the pickle fragrance that Bath & Body Works released this year, I had to pick up because of this. So holiday pickle ornament. I don't know if this is, I guess, fairly common knowledge in the States. You would think it would be because of, you know, Bath & Body Works coming out with it. But yeah, everyone was kind of losing their mind over them releasing a pickle fragrance. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in particular, but they also had the pickle candles, which I haven't smelled. I understand that this may be a better scent in general. I'm not talking about like how realistic it is, but I'm just saying in terms of a scent, this may be better according to the internet. But anyway, the notes on this in particular are brined botanicals, crisp cucumber, and salt water. And then it says, tale of the holiday pickle ornament. Hide the holiday pickle ornament in the tree and let the hunt begin. The first to spot the pickle starts the gift opening fun and is granted a year of merry good fortune. This delightful, like D-I-L-L, delightful tradition brings a dash of jolly holiday competition to the season and memories you'll relish for years to come. So, yeah, I do always appreciate a pun. And do I have any paper that I can spray? So this is pretty akin to cucumber and melon. So it has that kind of fresh cucumber scent. I don't get like a sour note. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily discount this if you were a big fan of cucumber melon or just in general. But yeah, I don't hate it. So I wanted to talk about that, and also I can't find my phone, but anyway, there's a German glass ornament manufacturer called, I think, Inga, and they also had a little blurb on their page, which is in English, that describes the kind of tradition of the pickle ornament. And so I'll link that for you down below. I did buy some of their ornaments, which I didn't take out a lot of ornaments this year, so I don't have them to show you. I did film a haul video after my Christmas 2023 trip, so I'll link that for you if you'd like to hear me talk about what I did and that kind of thing in greater depth. But yeah, I did want to mention that in particular. And so that brings me to Glühwein. And this is also another thing where you can buy the actual Nuremberg Glühwein, which I have here. I want to say I got this at Wegmans, which is a, I think, East Coast based grocery store. So you can see the Christkind there. And this one also has that designation there. So yeah, this is made in Germany and imported. I might open this later tonight. I think we are well enough into the festive season. Before I move on to the mug, you can find Glühwein from other brands. I think this one is also imported. I think I got this one at Total Wine. And I think Trader Joe's had it this season. I'll insert a picture I think I took of theirs. And like I said, I don't think Aldi had any, at least when we went. So that's kind of your little Glühwein shopping guide if you need it for next year. But anyway, how it works is they have a different mug every year. So this was the one from 2023. And I'll admit, when I checked the bottom of the mug, I was a bit confused because I thought we'd gone last year, but no, it was actually 2 years ago. So yeah, they date them, and obviously you can take them home with you and collect them. I think this has like the Bavarian dialect, if it'll focus, that's saying like, would you like another? They also have the European marker. There we go. That's more in focus. That shows you how much you get. So you know they're not shortchanging you. But yeah, what happens is you buy one with the mug, and if you want another helping, you can basically take in your old mug and they'll give you a fresh one. I don't think they refill your existing one from what I remember. So you can continue to do that until I guess you're done for the night. If you really just don't want the mug, I think you can return it for a deposit. Otherwise, you can take it home with you as a souvenir. And I'm pretty sure my parents still have some from, I guess, the early 90s when we were over there. I hope they still have them or have given them to me or my brother and not gotten rid of them. But my mom is a Virgo and likes to get rid of everything. But yeah, I just wanted to show that to you. And talking about things that would go into my shoes. Like I said, this is a little bit of a rambly video, but we did pick up some little Playmobil when we were in Germany. So this is from the Nuremberg Tourism Board. So Albrecht Dürer was one of the most famous residents of Nuremberg. They named the airport after him, which is, I guess, better than naming it after the Nazis who were there. And then we also have the Lebkuchenschmidt little guy here. Pretty sure Playmobil is a German company. We went to, I think, Playmobil World or Land when I was a kid. I know Legos are Danish. We also went to Legoland. This is made in Malta. But yeah, I think Zierendorf, Germany is where they're based. So anyway, wanted to show you that. And yeah, just give another plug for Nuremberg to visit. It's a pretty manageable city. Like, we were able to book a hotel that was within walking distance of the market that wasn't too expensive. And they have an airport that makes things really easy. I think we took a taxi from the airport to our hotel. Going back now, we would have just used the train. I mean, it's always a little tricky when you're first in a new place because you're not sure how things work. But we definitely took the train back to the airport. So their public transportation system is great and not too expensive. Very beautiful old city. So I think they have a lot of history from like the Holy Roman Empire days, if you're into that. They have the Albrecht Dürer house, like I said, and also if you or someone you know is a World War II buff, of course the Nuremberg trials and things took place there as well. I do still need to watch that movie that just came out with Russell Crowe. I think it's now on streaming. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. So I think that's all I had to say by way of preamble now that we're like 30 minutes into this video. But hopefully that was fun for you guys to listen to. So let's go ahead and get into this palette. I think I'm going to do kind of a neutral eye. I mean, I appreciate that they had the kind of red and green Christmas shades in here. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a green liner, but otherwise I think I prefer in general to keep it a bit more neutral. So I'm going to go into Christmas Pyramid with my Sigma Large Fluff E50. And I will say their shades do tend to kick up a bit, so just be a bit careful going in. You might want to tap off your brush, which is another reason why I kind of wanted a one to use and one to keep. So it's a decent enough mirror. It's kind of your standard cardboard packaging. And then I'm going to take my Sonia G Classic Crease and go into Krampus. I just used their Polar Express palette for my cookbook club. Was it like 10 days ago or so now? So I'm in a cookbook club, and what we did for December was kind of festive recipes from like movies, basically. So I did the hot chocolate scene from Polar Express, and I did find a recipe that purports to be that. I mean, you could obviously just make any hot chocolate. It's a fictional movie. It's not anything based in reality. But yeah, I wanted to do that. And I did find, going back into that same shade with the flat definer, I did find one from Half Baked Harvest is what I ended up using. And it was actually really delicious. So if you are looking for a good hot chocolate recipe, I would recommend it. A lot of hot chocolate content out there these days, given the season. But yeah, I liked hers because it did include both. I think I might need to blend that out a bit. So going back into that shade, it did blend cocoa powder and actual chocolate, which I think is kind of the best combination because you want the kind of richness of the chocolate, but also the flavor intensity of the cocoa. And I use Dutch cocoa. I don't think it matters necessarily for that, but in case you were wondering. So I'm gonna take my little mini booster and go into Nutcracker, the darkest brown. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to do that. I mean, who doesn't love hot chocolate, especially spiked hot chocolate? I had a variety of different options. I think I had Frangelico, which is what Tegan, I think is her name. I think she recommended Frangelico, which is a hazelnut liqueur. So if you like kind of a Nutella flavor going on. And then I also brought, I think, some Grand Marnier. And what else did I bring? I think I had some Di Giorno Amaretto, which is almond. And I had some tiny little kind of airplane-sized bottles of the, is it Screwball whiskey? Is like a peanut butter flavor. And then I had another little one of Kahlua. I'm not sure if many people did that much kind of doctoring to theirs. I mean, we were mostly driving, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, just by itself, it was quite delicious. And I doubled the recipe and put it into 2 large thermoses, like Costco-sized thermoses. So that's something you could do, or you could just have it in a crock pot in case, I don't know, at this point, if you're having a New Year's party, probably. But yeah, my husband's nieces, so my sister-in-law's children, part of their holiday tradition is to watch the Polar Express every Christmas Eve and make hot chocolate at the that scene, which is probably the best scene of the movie. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's a bit of a creepy movie. The CGI wasn't quite there when they made it, in my opinion. But yeah, I was, I think, a little bit older by the time it came out. I forget when it was, but yeah, not necessarily a part of my holiday tradition. My brother and I would always watch The Muppet Christmas Carol. And somehow I have found my way onto the Muppet Christmas Carol Instagram algorithm, which I didn't know could be a thing, but apparently it is. I would assume it's an algorithm and that everyone isn't suddenly obsessed with the Muppet Christmas Carol, but who can say? So I'm going to go into almonds and chestnuts, which I think may be a duochrome, possibly. And I'm going to take my rougher 28 brush. But yeah, we used to watch that every Christmas morning generally, especially when we were waiting for our parents to get up. I mean, as we got older, it didn't matter as much, like we would sleep in, but I remember when we were younger, my parents had a don't wake us up before 7 rule, which is hilarious now, but yeah, that was the rule. So we would go downstairs and open our stockings. We were allowed to do that, and then watch a Muppet Christmas Carol while we were waiting on my parents. And then once they came downstairs, we would have breakfast. So we would usually have some kind of special pastry or something. Like my mom would make, I still have the recipe. It's actually very similar to what Meghan Markle made in her holiday special. It was like a maple coffee cake, so it was like a yeasted dough that you would roll out into 3 layers and then combine it with, or like sprinkled nuts and cinnamon, and then you would like twist individual like wedge shapes to make this kind of circular design. I'm gonna go into gingerbread, same brush. So some years we were lucky and got that. We didn't get it every year. Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, we didn't get it every year just because it is more of a, time-intensive thing to make. And that's quite something. I might have to take that all over the lid. Yeah, it is a more time-intensive thing to make, so we didn't get it every year. I think we've had it maybe once or twice that I can remember as an adult, but yeah, it is kind of a more special thing. Now that I am an adult, a lot of times what my husband and I do for kind of a special holiday thing, whether, I don't know, it's a birthday or whatever, we'll either get like those frozen croissants or pain au chocolat from Trader Joe's, which are really good and also really easy, or we may make panettone French toast. So I did purchase a large panettone. I don't even know if I knew what panettone was as a kid. It just wasn't, culturally part of what we did. I'm gonna end up doing green. I'm gonna go into candle arches, put that on the outer corner just to give it a little bit more depth. So we might do that this year if we have time. We're meeting up with my brother and my parents in Baltimore, which is where he lives with his family. And I think they kind of want us there by 11, and we're about an hour away, so it's not impossible, but just, takes a little bit of focus to get that done. You can always eat panettone as it is, so there's that. So I think that's pretty. It's definitely a lot greener than I thought it would be. I was kind of going for a more taupey color story, but maybe I'll pull this back out for New Year's. I'm going to take that green and just put a little bit underneath. Yeah, so that's what we're doing for Christmas. I want to see what happens if I use this other green as a liner with my little BK 208 brush. So some years we stay at my brother's. This year, I think my parents are actually staying at theirs, and they have one guest room, so it becomes a little bit more tricky, but We are actually going to be staying overnight in a hotel in Baltimore and then going up to Longwood Gardens in Pennsylvania the next day. So it'll be a little bit of a shorter drive that way. So we're going to have a little kind of Boxing Day outing. And my husband's birthday was in early December, and we didn't really do much. So this is kind of a, I don't know, birthday / Christmas celebration, which I'm sure is something that all December birthdays really love, but I don't know. In our relationship, we don't go anywhere unless I plan it typically, and if it's somewhere I want to go, I'm usually, on the ball and I make it happen, but otherwise my husband just kind of sits back and enjoys the ride. So I've been wanting to go for a while to Longwood, and because it's called Gardens, you wouldn't think it'd be that exciting to go in December, but they do a lot of like Christmas lights and that kind of thing. So I've heard good things about it. I think it's a popular destination for people who live in like Philly or Wilmington, Delaware. So we're going to have a nice kind of Boxing Day lunch there. They have a really nice kind of farm-to-table restaurant, and they have like a, I think, 3-course prefix menu. So we'll do that and then look around at all the lights and decorations. And then we're gonna stay up there that night and go to the King of Prussia Mall the next day, which is a rather large mall that I've heard about, but I've never been to. Living in the DC area, we're not really unable to find good shopping, but the main reason I wanted to go up there, they have an Eataly, which I am looking forward to going to, especially when we're not flying anywhere or even taking the train. Like, it'll be a lot easier to buy foods and things and bring them back. So I'm looking forward to that, although I've heard rumblings that we might be getting one of those like in the Tysons area. But for now anyway, that'll be fun. We're gonna eat there, I guess, on the 27th. And then we're also going to the Netflix house, which very few people have heard about when I bring it up, but I guess I am more chronically online. So it's kind of like a permanent Netflix experience type facility. So if you've ever done one of those fever events, like I know they've done some that are like Bridgerton themed, that kind of thing. It's like that, but instead of going from city to city and only being there for a certain period of time, they have a permanent facility. There's a really cool like drone video that I'll link that kind of gives you a quick kind of, not walkthrough, but overview, I guess, of it. And I think they're also, or may have already opened one in Dallas. I'm not sure where else they're planning to do it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. I booked there's like a Wednesday experience, and I think the more specific events or things that you have to buy tickets to, I think those will change from time to time, but we're gonna do that Wednesday experience. And I like Wednesday. I don't know that I actually finished the last season, but anyway, so we'll do that. And then I'm also just, I guess, looking forward to trying it with the new Bridgerton season coming out. So I'm not sure how much of this is an overspray. I'm just going to try using this Rare Beauty blush brush. Maybe focus a little bit more. Okay, so that pretty much kicked up. There's a lot of gold sparkle though. I'm gonna tap that off maybe. Okay, so let's see if I can get any color here that isn't just total glitter and shimmer. You can see why I kind of wanted to buy one to keep nice and the other one to use. And in case you're, that's a little bit too much. In case you're thinking it's silly to not use your makeup, I do actually kind of rotate out makeup that I want to display. Like I have this IKEA cabinet in my bedroom, so I do get use and enjoyment out of the makeup I don't use, even though I don't use it. Okay, so I think that's good enough for what it is. And then I'm going to use an Anastasia A23 brush and see if I can get some of that other highlighter without, again, getting too much of the gold kind of overspray. I did just buy a new one of these because I thought it was getting a little bit old. Holding this like it has a mirror and it doesn't. Yeah, so I just kind of pulled these products in because they fit the theme. And then I'm going to take, all right, so I'm going to take a BK 104 brush, and I just want to, I'll take some of my Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I just want to kind of buff and blend that a little bit. Yeah, so hopefully that'll be fun. And then of course I am technically back to work the next month. Oh, the other thing, I think I leaned down to get my rag, and I think I didn't talk about the last shade here, which is Incense Smokers. And I just quickly wanted to show you, yeah, if you see that little guy on the side table there, that is the incense smoker that I got from Nuremberg last Christmas. So here, I'll go ahead and show you. So this is my nice handmade German nutcracker or incense smoker. You can see he has his Lebkuchen there on display, and these work by you put the incense in the bottom there and it comes out the top, so it looks like he is smoking his pipe or whatever he's smoking. Yeah, so I do have a pretty decent nutcracker collection at this point. Some of them are like actual authentic German nutcrackers. Some of them are just cheap ones that I found at World Market or whatever that I liked. One of my favorite ones actually was from World Market, which is Santa in his pajamas, and he has his slippers and like a tray with gingerbread men on it. So yeah, that's one of my favorites, even though it's probably less than, I don't know, 30 bucks or whatever. So this is the Nuts About You balm, I think. A bit frosty. Doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah, mostly got it for the packaging. I'm just going to throw a little bit of bronzer on my forehead. So this is the Diffused Bronze Light from Hourglass. So I'll just wrap up by saying, I guess, what you can expect from me through the rest of this year. So hopefully I will have another empties video within a week or two. I'd like to get it up before the end of the year. But yeah, I'm going to do kind of, I think, naughty and nice style. So yeah, want to do that. I have a lot of empties I just want to get out of my apartment. I have my Pantone Color of the Year video coming up. I still need to do that. And what else? I was just making a list not too long ago. I'll be doing a new e.l.f. video before too long. I'm still waiting for some of their newer items to come in. But anyway, I hope this video was fun for you guys to watch or listen to, as the case may be. And whether you celebrate Christmas or not, I just hope that you are having a lovely week of December with your friends and family. and that hopefully you will have some time to relax and recuperate before we head into 2026. And with all that being said, I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe throughout this crazy holiday time. I love you, and I will talk to you very soon.